Sienna, Chef Sienna over at Allen and Peterson, and I'm so excited to share with you this chicken breast recipe with roasted vegetables and pumpkin butternut squash bread. And we are going to be using your leftover jack-o'-lanterns from this holiday, and I bet you can spot one already, and we're going to be throwing it in the oven, roasting it at 400 degrees to start our puree for that bread. Next, we're going to be cutting up our vegetables for our roasted vegetables. It's going to be one of the longest things that's going to be happening during this cooking process. So we're going to get those started and just follow along. We are going to dice up some vegetables. We chose pumpkin, Brussels sprouts, and carrots to be roasted. We're going to toss them in some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika. Now, if you don't have garlic and paprika, you can really season it however you feel like. I know some kids are super picky about their seasoning. I really just go, my main two are salt and pepper. You can spice it up if they like spicy stuff, or add a little bit of sugar or brown sugar to caramelize it in the oven. Those are really nice too. That's why my husband likes it, because he doesn't eat his vegetables either. So go ahead and just dice these up into bite-sized pieces. I'm just going in with my hands. They're the best tools you have in the kitchen. So we are going to cut up this potatoes and half a cauliflower to start boiling. And we are going to add a lot of salt to the water. Now, potatoes and cauliflower don't have a lot of taste, so if you don't salt it at every step, you're not going to get a lot of flavor in the end. And potatoes are a root vegetable. They're actually a tuber, so you need to start the water from the same temperature as the potatoes in order for them to cook correctly. A lot of people assume you want to start the boiling water first. It's not going to help you out in any way. It's actually going to release the starches too early. Just go ahead and make sure that the cauliflower is a little bit larger than the potatoes, and they should be done about the same time. My professors in college used to joke that they wanted their boiling water to taste like the ocean, so that's what we're going for here. You can't over salt boiling water, so go as much as you want to. And we're gonna turn this on. So we got these beautiful half chicken breasts here, and they do come with the rib cage still attached. I'm going to detach the rib cage, but we are going to keep them for our pan sauce. We're going to sear them and then use all that flavor to enrich our sauce. So for now, I'm just gonna take them off the bone. Make sure when you're doing this, you have a super sharp knife and someone who is kind of experienced. If not, that's okay. Just follow along, you'll be fine. Stay close to the bone so you don't waste a lot of meat. You're going to follow right along the rib cage, and you're gonna feel the wing joint here. You're gonna go up and underneath it, and it's gonna come right off, and then cut straight down past there. Notice we did get ones with the skin still on them. We're gonna go ahead and sear that up when it comes time. I'm gonna salt and pepper generously. Okay. I'm putting my pan on medium heat, and we want to make sure it gets really hot before we put our chicken in it. I did put about half a tablespoon of oil in the pan ahead of time, and we want to warm that up with the pan. So we are putting the chicken in skin side down. It should make a nice sizzling noise when you put it in. And once we put them in, we are not going to touch them until they tell us it's time to move them, which means they're going to kind of release themselves from the pan. That way we get a nice caramelized color on the bottom. And since we are using these extra pieces, we want to go ahead and brown them off too. Go ahead not to overcrowd your pan. I am using a really low, shallow-sided Nanobon Heston here. You can really use any shallow-sided stainless steel pan. Don't go ahead and use a non-stick just because of all the high heat cooking we're going to be doing today. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and small dice this onion. I know a lot of people have problems crying. We are just going to do two things to prevent that crying. We're going to have a super sharp knife. If you need help sharpening that knife, just come on down. I'll go ahead and help you. The second part is we're going to keep this base intact the whole time we're cooking. We can cut it in half that once, but other than that, we're not going to cut it again. It's going to, one, help us with the cutting process, two, keep us from not crying. So today we are making a mushroom hand sauce. The best way I feel like getting extra vegetables in kids is hiding it to where they can't see. And so we are going to super chop these mushrooms really fine, and you can do that in a food processor. And so we're going to go ahead and throw these mushrooms in there and pulse them until they are super minced up. There we go. Sauce is gonna be so good. Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, so we are just gonna turn these guys over now that they are ready. And we're gonna cook them for a couple more minutes. They are gonna finish in the pan sauce, so they don't have to be cooked all the way through. Look at that brown color we got on there. That's great. Go ahead and pull them off and set them aside. We really just want the pan right now. I'm going to go ahead and put our other rib cage in and let it cook down for a little bit as well, because we're going to need all of his remnants. Okay, while that is cooking, we are going to start our seeds for the salad. So we are going to take our pumpkin seeds, and some butternut squash seeds. And we are going to super salt our water once again. And we are going to boil these for about 5 minutes until they're a little bit extra tender. Paprika, salt and pepper, just my usual. They're pretty much my go-to for everything cooking wise. They encompass everything: salt, sweet, heat. It's pretty much your go-to. A little bit of savory. Unless you need anything super specific, that's the way to go. And we're gonna add a little bit more salt. Go. Time to roast those guys. And let's go. Getting close, but not quite. I got some rosemary and some thyme here. We're gonna go ahead and chop up for our chicken pan sauce. Any kinds of herbs are good. My favorite is thyme and rosemary. I do like some parsley. Rosemary is really great with chicken, and so is thyme, so that's why we're using these two today. You can kind of just mix it up. Anything you have on hand is really good as well. Anything to get a little extra green in your system. Okay, perfect. We are going to add a little bit more oil. To the pan, along with our garlic and onions and mushrooms. We're going to turn our heat down to low. Mushrooms release a lot of moisture, so it's getting that fond off the bottom, all those brown crispy pieces, which is really good. It's going to help with the pan sauce. As well as salt and pepper. So we are no longer in need of these pieces of chicken. They have given us all the flavor that they possibly can. You can use this for chicken stock or anything. I really like to use the whole part of all the ingredients that we get. We're going to add just a little bit of flour to thicken the whole thing up here. Just add a little on top and you should start to see it thicken up. I'm not sure exactly how much you're gonna need. It depends how much moisture your mushroom release. I'll show you the consistency you're gonna wanna try to get it to though. You wanna make sure you're keeping your temperature on about low, cooking off that flour as you go. You don't want it to taste like flour in the end. There you go. That looks like a good stopping point. We want it to be kind of like a mushroom paste at this point. And then we're going to cook it a little bit longer. So once we get the stock in there and the chicken in there, put the lid on it, put it on low, and walk away. You can work on other parts of your recipe, play with your kids, play a board game, whatever it is. You don't have to touch it until it's done. Add the chicken stock, making sure you're getting all the pieces off the bottom and incorporating all the mushrooms. Nestle these chickens back in, skin side up, right in the middle, making sure not to touch any of the sides. Make sure your sauce comes about halfway up your largest chicken breast. Throw the lid on and make sure it's on low. We're gonna leave it for about 30 minutes before checking it again. We're gonna go ahead and turn our vegetables, making sure they all get coated. They're looking really nice and smelling even better. And making sure we get them all laid out into a single layer again before we close it back up. Okay, our squashes are super ready to go to make our puree out of, so we're just gonna go ahead and pull these. They are looking awfully fantastic and nice and caramelized. You're gonna need a food processor for this, or a bowl and a lot of time on your hands just to smash it all out. Food processors work best, or anything with the ability to just kind of whip it around, mash it. Your KitchenAid would work, and that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. Okay, be careful, these are gonna be really hot. If you have a pair of gloves or something, go ahead and put those on. But they should be able to just peel away from their skin at this point. You can always use a spoon to go ahead and help and aid that process, but we're just gonna go ahead and pull out all that center of both your pumpkin and your butternut squash. Just go ahead and start this puree. And this is just like an all-purpose puree. It doesn't have to be for your bread, it could be for your pumpkin pie, your cookies, anything. This is just a surefire way to make your own puree with your jack-o'-lanterns. So we've taken the guts out of all of our pumpkin, roasted them, and now we are going to puree their meat. Okay, let's go ahead and get this into a bowl so you can see how it turned out. Look at how delicious those look. We are making our own whole grain flour here in the Vitamix using wheat berries. We're just gonna go ahead and blend them for less than 90 seconds. First, we are going to mix together all of our dry ingredients. And these are already measured out. Quick breads are an easy way to get a lot of your fiber in for the day, and they're super fun to make and always makes your house smell great. Now let's stir together our wet ingredients. So much left to make pumpkin pie and cookies and whatever else we want. We are replacing the sugar in our cake with maple syrup, which is great for the holidays. We have to make sure not to overmix because we're using a very glutinous flour. So I'm going to let the Vitamix do its job, and then I'm going to finish the task. To give your pan a good spray. And then this guy should be ready for the oven. As you can see, there's nothing left in our oven because we pulled our vegetables and our seeds out already. Looks like our cauliflower and potatoes are done. So we roasted this garlic in the oven for 45 minutes at 400 degrees. And now we can add our roasted garlic to our mashed potatoes, and it's going to be fantastic and full of flavor. We went ahead and saran wrapped our potato and cauliflower from earlier because we weren't quite ready for them. So they have been steaming in here, so they are still nice and warm. We're going to rice them so they are all the same consistency. Who's gonna tell you that's not the same thing? Pepper, salt, a little bit of butter, and since we're not using cream, we're gonna add a little bit of vegetable stock. Those look delicious. Okay, time to check our chicken. So as long as it's past 165, it's good. The closer to 165 it is, the more tender your meat's going to be. We're gonna go ahead and pull this off and finish that pan sauce. Once we let this cool down a little bit, so we're gonna take it off the heat, we're gonna add a little bit of butter to give it a little bit more body so it can stand up to our chicken. Just about a tablespoon of butter here, and we're just gonna mix it in real quickly, and it should help thicken it up just a little bit, as well as adding a little bit of body to your sauce. Okay, you can make quick vinaigrettes at home for your salad using practically any vinegar you want to. You just have to remember the ratio 3 to 1. 3 olive oil to 1 vinegar, no matter what it is. 3 cups, 3 tablespoons, 3 quarts, anything, no matter how much you want to make, it's 3 to 1. As long as you have an emulsifier. Today our emulsifier we're using is garlic. So we're gonna add a little bit of garlic. And Dijon mustard. They are natural emulsifiers, which is going to bind that olive oil and the vinegar together and also give a little bit of flavor to our vinaigrette. I am using red wine right now and a little bit of lemon. Slowly add in our olive oil. Oh, that looks delicious. And since we added those emulsifiers in, this is ready for your fridge or your salad. It will last in this mixed up state as long as you will have it. It will separate, you just mix it on up again. Look at that, that looks delicious. I'm so excited, I love vinaigrettes. Okay, I like my onions in my salad to be kind of longer in slices, so that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half and then slice it this way. Perfect. And then we got our pumpkin seeds that we roasted off earlier, which is delicious. I've been eating them nonstop, and craisins. Okay. Some mixed greens, onions, craisins. I like craisins, so I'm gonna go heavy on the craisins. And those wonderful pumpkin seeds. And our vinaigrette. Look at how that coats everything. We're just going to toss it up, mix it all together. Look at how that vinaigrette coats everything. Those are those emulsifiers in there, and it's going to taste so good. Fantastic. Look at all those goodies in there. Okay, so it's time that we plate up all these wonderful things that we made today. I'm starting with the potatoes because I love potatoes, especially when it has hidden vegetables in it. Don't have to tell me twice. And these roasted vegetables are by far my favorite. We make them all the time at the house, and so I'm gonna go ahead and add a bunch of these on there too. Anything that gets me to eat vegetables is good by me. And these roasted vegetables are delicious. And that chicken looks so good, and we're gonna top it off with that pan sauce. What more could you want from a vegetable dish with some chicken in it? So our toothpick came out real clean, so it means it's done. I've never been very patient, so I might cut into this really soon, but we'll let it cool for a little bit. Okay, start to finish, we got our salad, our chicken and vegetables, and our pumpkin bread. Can you spot your jack-o'-lantern all the way through to the end? I'm so glad you were able to do this with me. Thank you so much for cooking along with me to make this wonderful holiday dish. Come and see me at Allen and Peterson anytime we have wonderful cooking demos. I would love to see you, and let me know if you watch this video. That'd be so much fun. I'm about to dig in, and so should you. Please tell me how your recipe turned out. Hope to see you soon.